So we're flying along fast now, up along the East Coast, and they're flying really fast. They just took off the elephant, the one elephant, and the Unisari took off with everybody on her back, and the hawk's falling behind. And the lion Tejra is up on Unisari's head, kind of perched up here, holding on to the horn and just loving the flight. Is just having fun. They're going fast, right? They're gonna show up to see you. They're going quick, and and then they're settling in there on the neck of Unisari. The jaguar, Raed, is settling in with Mercurial the ram and our human Jake. They're settling in on the shoulders there of Unisari, and they're going to take a little quick nap as they're on this quick flight to catch up to the Goat King after they had their snack, and they had this new proteinaceous pearled oat with this mold on it and chocolate. And so they're flying up there really quick, and the lions holding on while they're going fast, and they're all having fun on this flight now. And the lion asks, Sorry's like, I can tell this is a grateful elephant. It's enjoying, because the elephant had some of these white moldy pearled oat chocolate berries. They have the lion had there waiting for him on the grass on the side of the mountain down south. And so they're flying up really fast, and the lion's just like, this is great, and Unisari's like, yeah, I love this. I don't know what's up with this elephant, why they're going so fast, but I like it. And Unisari's having fun because she's never flown since she was a little with her mother, when she was very young, and so this is the first time she's flown in a long time, and she's just having a blast going as fast as she can to keep up. And she can tell she's got this energy and this strength too, because they all consume this new sort of mold that the lions have been working on with the hermits and the jaguars know all about. And flying really fast, and the hawk is getting concerned. Why are we going so fast? And the hawk comes up, flies up next to him, and Sarah's just like, yeah, isn't this great? This we get to go this way. And the hawk's like, this is not what we're supposed to be. The hawk had nibbled some of this stuff too, and is aware of how the hawk's really aware of all the different territories, what kind of food can get nibbled on. And the hawk's like, I know that this medicine is really great stuff, but this is not. We're not supposed to be going this fast on this stuff. This is dangerous. And Sarah's like, oh, I don't know, I like it. This is fun, dude. What are you talking about? But if you have to slow down the elephant, go ahead. Go on up there. You talk to the elephant. The elephant's leading this show. And so Unisari's going along, and then the elephant, or the hawk breaks free to go up ahead to catch up to the elephant to tell him, hey, slow down. And as soon as the hawk accelerates, boom, then and they're in this kind of lightning storm already, but then they go wham, and they hit this like blast off point where all three of them, there's this like ball lightning effect where that is this simultaneous uh, 3 points of electrical charge that all go groundless, right? Because the ball lightning, it doesn't ground with the earth, but they get this boom, and ball lightning, and it hits all three of them, the elephant and the hawk and Unisari, and they go bam, and they hit this sort of hyperspatial acceleration where they go non-local, and they jump from that ball lightning up ahead of the storm all the way up to the point at the canal. They jump up to the where the meeting's supposed to be um, with Acricorn. And so they get up to Acricorn, and the elephant just goes boo, 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 boo. The elephant's just making this trumpeting sound. Trumpeting sound gets up to Acricorn, and Acricorn is like, whoa, 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 Ganji, Ganji, Ganji is the name of the elephant, Ganji. What is it? Thank you, good work, great work, Ganji. You got everyone here quickly. Well done. The Goat King is really happy that everyone got there ahead of schedule, but the elephant just won't shut up. It's just and the Goat King is like, well, what is it? What is it, Ganji? What? Why? I know you want to see Ganwan. Ganwan is the brother of Ganji, is the female elephant. Ganwan is the one who's gone west to go track the other ram. Goat King's getting a little concerned. His elephant's freaking out, and it's like, I know we got to get the monkeys and get on time. I know you're with me on this. You want to get on track with time like me. But why are you freaking out? It's all better. You did a great job. And the elephant's like, no, no, no. There's this new stuff. You got to check it. And the Goat King doesn't know about what the lion's doing on the side of the hill. That's why the lion's sort of like, hey, we have the secret business that the Goat King doesn't know about this stuff. And so the Goat King's sort of like, oh gosh, something happened that I don't know about. And the Goat King hears from the elephants, these lions are hanging out with these hermits on the side of the mountain, and they're kind of getting this special new technology for their consciousness and for their ability to travel through the air in new ways. That when they get up in the air together and they get going in the speed of this new medicine, that it can actually jump them. And this is kind of a threat to a little bit of the Air Force that the air fleets and the aircrafts that the Goat King rules mostly. But the people, of course, have the Northerners have this new disc technology. They don't have landing gear for it yet. We'll find out about that soon. So yeah, the Goat King is happy now and is getting word about what's going on up north or up out west with the deer people, and that we start finding out with the Goat King because the hawk comes in. The hawk gets word from other birds in the area. They're at that corner point, and the goat says this is okay. The delay is actually okay because and I was supposed to be delivered some technology from the crab people too, but the gators taking care of it. The Goat King starts talking about how because there's a lot of there's gator people that work down. There's two different groups of gator people, but they really work together. They're all one kind of gator people. But again, remember the reptilians are very independent. There's not like a big tribe of snakes. So they have families of snakes and families of gators and crocodiles, turtles, and various other reptilian lizard creatures. But they don't have like council of all of the tribes, the way that a lot of the other groups do. So they're a little bit dispersed with the reptilians. But so there's gator people that are up there on the east coast at that canal region at the bottom of the southern forests, or the bottom of the northern forests. They're at the edge of the desert where the canals come into the tropical region before where the mountain on the other side of the mountain range at the coast. And there's also gator people that are down there hanging out with the jaguars. And the Goat King started going on and on about how like, wow, this has been a crazy day. We had a great plan. It didn't work out the way we planned to, but I'm getting word now from his flying monkey people that who he had found out they had gotten intoxicated with the Gator people, but the Gator people kept him on track. So the remember the Goat King is this ruler of the sea and the air and has this and underneath the earth where it does mining operations underneath the mountains, where the humans do mining operations above land. And the Goat King has these hybrid flying blue monkeys that are sort of his special air monkeys that also do this stuff down underneath the earth to help him steward the rams and everything and give them their education, technology access, and that kind of thing. But they also fly around from the mountains and sort of do his mountain monkey work. And but the monkeys are wild monkeys, even though the Goat King tries to keep them very refined and on track with their projects. But these monkeys, they wherever they're sent to, they get cozy with the locals. And so his local blue monkeys that are hanging out there are kind of pissing him off, but they're giving him the lag that he needs to wait for everybody else to catch up with this new set of plans with the people coming over. And he says that the issue with the machinery that we lost from the crab people that they were going to deliver over to us so that we could have better communication when the crab people show up, because the goat king's aware that the crab people are going to be showing up, and he's also aware that they've got this new technology that the crab people have worked together with the humans with that's supposed to allow the crab people and the humans to be able to communicate better together now with the scorpions and the wolves and the spiders and everybody. And so the Goat King was really upset that they lost this tech. He was supposed to get delivered this new technology that the crab people had developed. He doesn't know exactly what it is yet, but because Eel is up there, he can get word then from the word from the crab people that, hey, we lost the technology, and they got another one to the gator people. And so the monkey people and the gator people are working together to just use their local sea shipping lanes along the east coast to bring another one down from the northern. because the Northerners have the Northern humans have their main center of established commerce and their manufacturing operations and their political centers and stuff. They're all up further north and mainly towards the east, and so that's where they and they also integrate with a lot of the really well respected scorpion and reptilian people hang out up there to do business, right, with the northerner humans who really don't have to do with much with the deer people unless they're closer to the valleys and the forests, away from the cities and the mining operations. Up further north where they'd found the ram. So the Goat King is okay with these temporal rearrangements and is wondering when he's going to get the elephant back. With the other elephant that had gone east or that had gone west is supposed to fly back with the ram, the lost ram, and he's just like whatever happens to whatever that party is, hopefully we can all fly back with the elephant. So then we go and we see that Ganwan is flying east down these canals looking for the lost party with the ram that we know has gone north, and the elephant doesn't know this, of course, and the elephant's flying along like, God, I wish I could talk to these birds to track down this ram for the Goat King. But I can. The elephant was like, I know I can talk to them if they're willing to slow down. These birds are just so afraid of a giant big elephant. The elephant's like, I mean them no harm, and I'm aware that the elephants talk to or that the birds talk to the squirrels, and the squirrels and I don't have the best relationship, but at least the birds can fly. They ought to be willing to talk to me. And the elephant's flying along, and sees an injured boar, one of the wild boars, um, that is one of the forest boars. That's not one of the desert boars, and so he's up on the side because he's heard that the people have gone into the forest just north of the canal, and he sees this bird or this boar that's injured, and assumes it's been injured and abandoned by some snakes or some nasty scorpions for whatever reasons. The scorpions people are always doing things with wild animals, and so he sees this injured boar. Maybe it's like, maybe I can go down and talk to this injured boar and get word, because a lot of times injured animals will have interacted with vultures, and of course there are vultures coming swooping down towards this boar as the elephant comes in. Elephant doesn't, is a big animal, but it isn't interested in eating boar, and is interested in helping this boar actually, because it's injured boar, and is maybe going to save it from the vultures, um, for help, to get some help, because the elephant's resourceful, it wants to talk with anybody, work with anybody to clear the agenda and get on track, even if it means rescuing or even butting anybody out of the way. So he's going to go down and try to get information with the vultures and with the boar, and the boar is snarling, snarling, snarling. Most of the boars can't hardly speak. They're very wild beasts. And there's herded pigs and this kind of thing, but nobody really has much respect for the pigs and the boars, and they kind of just raise them as food and livestock, because they're very emotional animals, but they're not intelligent with the rest of them for getting on track with an integrated language program and all this other stuff. The pigs are just sort of like, yeah, eat and roll around in the mud, and they're very emotional creatures, but they don't get a lot of respect in this evolving intelligence society of, they're seen as even lower than the cows. They have honor for the cows, because it used to be the age of the bull, and the age of the bull was coming to a close here at the beginning of the age of the ram. So there's this boar there that maybe the elephant's thinking, maybe I can get some information with this boar and this pack of vultures, and the vultures are just like, this is our boar. This is going to be our snackings with the insects here. The vultures and the insects have this deal where the scorpion will take one out, and the vultures will go, the insects will come in and they'll do this intelligence operation where they move stuff around. The vultures can benefit in a gross way, and then the intelligence networks of the insects and the molds kind of do the rest of the work with the bones. And the vulture's just like, you leave us alone. This is our boar. This boar doesn't have anything to say to you. But we know what you're here for, and in fact, you need to go talk to the deer people. Because the Goat King is going to have to meet with the deer chiefs, and that's your job now, buddy. We're gonna have our feast here on this boar, but you got to go catch up with that ram. That ram is now talking to the wolf spiders. That ram is a smart ram. Quickly, that ram is picking up course with the rest of what's going on in this forest, and that ram is going to go meet with the deer chiefs. So you got to get over there. And so the elephant's like, all right, and starts flying up north to go track down the deer chiefs. And meanwhile, leaving the inn, they've had this meal, they've rested. The Vestibula and John and Lee and Crackler and Amla and Mejra, or Majra or Meshra, Meshra. She goes by many names. It's Mea Jara. And so Mejra and Amla have gone into this sort of post-meal crab sleep trance state that the crabs go into. Um, uh, Crackler's getting much needed rest, and then of course the ram and the ram Vestibula and Lee and John, they all have a little bit of a red mushroom to put them into that deep rest for a few hours so they can get going. And so they go out, they leave the overpopulated slum regions of the deer park, and they start going out into the foothills of the mountains to go up into the mountains to meet the deer chiefs. And on their way out, they start realizing these these trees are swaying and moving with the wind in ways that is really giving them a feeling for the deer dance. It's like they can feel the music from the night before. It's just right there in the trees and in the breeze. And then they start going further and deeper into the forest, and they realize there's a lot of strange mushrooms in this forest, and they're being told by the crab people like, yeah, these are the mushrooms, these are the what we're talking about. This is why these big new mushrooms, their spores end up interacting with the spores that would be in the usual edible mushrooms, and they have so much toxins in them. The usual edible mushrooms don't aren't safe to eat anymore. But these new mushrooms, the insect people and the deer people are using them for structures to build things. So they see these lattice work structures that are built by mushrooms. And so these mushrooms that are on the foothills as they're getting in closer to the mountains are creating a different view of what the deer life is like. And they're running into these more rural deer and mountain communities of deer as they're getting closer to where they're going to meet these chiefs. And they see they've got this whole integration of insects and mushrooms and deer, where they have ropes that the spider people are weaving, and they have screen doors that are on these mushroom structures where the mushrooms grow these sort of lattice work patches of structural integration of to make walls and barriers and sorts of um, functional objects that do different tasks that provide fun and structure and a life space, a new richer ecology for the deer to live in and to build and work with in their forest. And likewise, there's various flying insects that also spin and make these sort of mesh screen doors that are like big integrations of like almost like cocoon-like structures that are built with these mushrooms and these insects that they build them and they work together with the deer. But of course they're toxic. You can't eat these mushrooms. Um, and so the deer have this new um, civic process with the forest, right? They're the civil process now with the forest with this agrarian um, sort of permacultural thing that they're doing with their forestry is allowing them to enhance their land power, right? Because remember the jaguars are interested in getting the deer to fly again, but now we're seeing that the deer have had the because they haven't been allowed to fly because their usual mushrooms that would allow them to fly are now toxic, and and they have this new interaction with different groups of people, with the people who have them. Many of the deer's addicted, like the scorpions and the snakes and the crustaceans, but they have this new integration with the insects and with the fungal structure builders of the forest, right? That are, down south. They don't have these big mushroom structure plexes. They have simpler mushrooms that you know talk to the ants and keep the communication happening on the forest floor, but they're not as structurally robust as remember in the southern area. That's big trees and owls and this kind of thing, and of course the spaceship that had crushed the old forest there, but is being held up by the ends of the trunks of the old trees. But the structure dynamics of this forest are such that mushrooms really provide villages now. These rural deer villages that are like where everyone wants to go to from the slums, but they have these codes of honor to like be able to enter these villages. You can't just be, a wasteful overbreeding, over consuming deer like down in the slums. So these villages are sort of ushering through these travelers, but also sort of keeping out these deer. There's all these, they're running into all these, intoxicated deer in between these villages. They're trying to get into the villages. They have to, kind of prove themselves that they're able to work in community and not just be, wasteful leeches that are leaching more toxins into the runoff, because the deer chiefs are apparently trying to clean up these communities, and makes it so they want to have those communities that are, going to be, where their runoff would go into. They're trying to get some environmental management in these villages so that they're not just pooping and peeing by the streams, because the deer had gotten lazy, and because they had no predators, so it was hanging out by the water hole all day. And so now they're like, hey, this is how you manage your waste without just putting it into the stream. The deer are getting smart because they have this new relationship with um, organisms that are literally walking. One crab is a whole community of insects, shellfish, barnacles, all this stuff growing on them. And so because they're the ones primarily responsible for trafficking the toxic and deadly narcotics that are jeopardizing the relationship of the deer with the land and everyone around them, the deer actually learning from the crabs, like, hey, like, here's how you maintain a stable ecosystem. Like, we've had a lot of dead crabs because they didn't have their, balance with their, the barnacle growth had maybe gotten too bad on them, and they didn't have the right kind of, certain algae that would grow on those barnacles to keep it in balance with their insect community. So the crabs are educating the deer about the forest, about ecology, about all kinds of things. So the deer are getting smart, and they're getting responsibility for what was really nobody's fault, and it was just the natural unfolding um, of the landscape. So anyways, our flying elephant is coming in and seeing that, okay, there's the deer community where and he sees them getting escorted, and he runs into the hawk, and he sees the hawk in the sky, and the hawk's like, oh, you're gonna get us back on track with the schedule out east, aren't you? And so the deer, the hawk's like, dude, you gotta steer clear. That you don't want to scare off the deer and throw things off schedule. Um, why don't you fly over to this, swampy area that is kind of gross, but none of the deer are gonna go near there unless they're the really nasty deer who don't, who roll around in that stuff anyway. So just hang out there by the swamp, that's in between these two mountains, and one of the mountains is the one that they're being escorted to by the spiders through all these little, deer communities that they're encountering. And so the elephant lands there, and it's just like, all right, I'm gonna wait. And then the spider people meet, find the chiefs, and we meet the deer chiefs.